Session 6, Financial Management and Analysis. Lack of financial awareness and the disregard for the importance of staying on top of your numbers is one of the most common reasons new restaurant owners fail. Roger Fields, author of Restaurant Success by the Numbers. So, you opened your Wing It On and got through the hardest parts. You picked a great location, the customers love the food, the service is exquisite, and customer satisfaction is high. Your marketing campaign is killing it, and word of mouth is getting around. Yet it's a year later and you still aren't making as much money as you thought you would be by now. The reason why likely remains hidden in your numbers. Numbers that may have been brushed aside and not analyzed until you realized it was now a problem. Learning to become a strong financial manager of your business and diligently following weekly, monthly analytical procedures could be the difference between breaking even and finally seeing that strong return on investment. For most people, financial analysis is boring, time-consuming, and just plain no fun. For other people, they find it difficult or just don't understand it, so they bury their heads in the sand and hope that the numbers just work out. Success in this industry requires you to both perform the work of analyzing the business as well as understanding what those numbers mean and act upon them. At the end of this session, you'll be able to answer the following questions. 1. Why is good bookkeeping and accounting so important, and how should I keep my books? 2. What is working capital, and how much should I have? 3. What is the difference between cash flow and profit? Why is it important to understand this difference? 4. Why is the prime cost the most important number in food service? What are the components that make up my prime cost? 5. What is the difference between theoretical and actual food cost? How do I calculate each and reconcile their differences? 6. How do I perform a weekly inventory? How do I use my weekly inventory to calculate my true food cost? And 7. What are the best practices for managing my labor cost? Before we begin, it is important to preface this chapter with one thing. The first 6 months of any new store's launch is considered the customer acquisition and loyalty phase. During this insanely critical time period, the only thing that should matter is happy customers walking out the door with a smile on their face and going home to enjoy the best wings they've ever had. While financial analysis and management are extremely important for your long-term success, they should never drive rash decisions during the first 6 months. Your food costs will be very high since you will be doing heavy couponing and discounting in the early months. Your labor costs will make you want to pull your hair out the first few weeks because you are overstaffing to make certain that customers are having a great experience. Never cut staff to save money early on, or you risk a potentially disastrous situation that could damage your reputation and spread negative publicity. Remember, a store that is staffed to prepare for a low sales day can only ever do low sales. Plan to be busy and you will be prepared when your marketing pays off and new customers start flooding through the doors. Bookkeeping and accounting. Your journey to become a successful financial manager of your Wing It On begins with keeping accurate books. Aside from the fact that clean, accurate books will help you know exactly what is going on in your business, it is also required by law to have business records in order to file your taxes. While you will have to employ a licensed CPA for your taxes, bookkeeping can either be done on your own or with the help of a service. Do-it-yourself versus paid bookkeeping. Keeping your own books can save a couple $100s per month. However, it may also be time-consuming and end up causing more headaches at the end of the year if the books were not kept accurately. We recommend only keeping your own books if you have a prior experience keeping good books and/or a strong background in finance and accounting. If you do choose to keep your own books, our recommended software is QuickBooks, desktop or online. Bookkeeping services. The majority of operators choose to employ a bookkeeping service. Options include local firms and online bookkeeping. A local firm will be more comprehensive and communicate directly with you, however, will likely be more costly. Online bookkeeping services are streamlined to keep the cost down, however, may require you to manually update transactions until they learn your business. Recommended low-cost bookkeeping services include Merit Bookkeeping, www.meritbookkeeping.com, BotKeeper, www.botkeeper.com, and KPMG Spark, www.kpmgspark.com. Working capital. In the simplest terms, working capital is the cash and other liquid assets you have on hand in order to operate your basis daily. Every new business will have higher than normal expenses at launch and may take several months to become profitable. Therefore, having adequate working capital balance when you start is extremely important to your success. Without a proper working capital balance at the launch of your new Wing It On, you will not be able to market your business to bring in new customers, grow the revenue, and become successful. Opening without working capital is one of the most common reasons new owners struggle, as they are stuck in a vicious cycle. I can't market my business to new customers because I don't have the money. I don't have the money because I can't market to new customers. How much working capital do I need? Based on our business model, we recommend having $30,000 in working capital at launch and an absolute minimum of $20,000. The Bill Gates strategy takes things even further. Among the many things Bill Gates is famous for is his theory on working capital. Bill Gates' strategy was to have enough cash on hand so that if revenue went to zero, he would have enough cash to continue operating unimpeded for at least 12 consecutive months. Cash flow versus profit. Most new business owners believe that profit is the most important figure when looking at their monthly financial statements. However, it is cash flow that new owners should be most focused on. This is because it is possible to be both making a positive net profit each month while also having negative cash flow. Positive cash flow is what keeps a business running. Profit, gross versus net. Gross profit is your business revenue minus the cost of goods sold. Our prime cost, food plus labor costs. Gross profit is useful for measuring how efficient your business is running, but is only the first piece of the profitability puzzle. As a quick service restaurant, you should target a minimum gross profit of 35 to 40%. Net profit, also referred to as your bottom line, is calculated from your gross profit minus all other operating expenses and taxes. Basically, your net profit is the money your business made for you, either to be taken as a dividend or reinvested back into your business. The quick service food industry average net profit is 6 to 9% of revenue. Retained earnings. This is the post-net profit money that is kept in your business for future growth after all owner-investor dividends are paid. Smart business owners do not take 100% of the profit, but rather adhere to a retained earnings strategy in order to grow their business in the future, or at least to keep cash on hand for unexpected events. Wing It On recommends a minimum 30% retained earnings rate. If you are planning to open additional stores or grow your business faster, a retained earnings rate of 50% or higher may be more prudent. Prime cost, where the battle is won or lost. Prime cost is the most referred to phrase when discussing the financial health of any business in the food service industry. Simply put, prime cost is your cost of raw materials, food, beverage, and consumables, plus your labor costs. The next two sections will break down exactly how we track, measure, and manage these critical costs. Food cost. Theoretical versus actual food cost. Theoretical food cost is what your food cost would be in an ideal world where nothing goes wrong. Zero spoilage, waste, theft, couponing, discounting, etc. Actual food cost is your real-world food cost and is based on an inventory and purchases calculation. Calculating theoretical food cost. Wing It On Corporate does a lot of the legwork on theoretical food costing for you. There are two resources for theoretical food costing. Method number 1, Gordon Foods Recipe Manager. The most accurate method for food costing, GFS, Recipe Manager, allows us to create recipe-based food costs that pull live pricing data from our Gordon Order Guide. To calculate theoretical food costs from Gordon's Recipe Manager, you will need to create a food cost review under the Reports drop-down. Simply input sales for each menu item for a specified time period and then click Generate Report. The resulting report will break down your food costs by item, category, and an overall summary and total projected food cost theoretical figure. It will also break down our menu into 4 very important categories that we will discuss next. The 4 horsemen of food costing. Stars. High profitability, high popularity. These are your best items and should be the ones you want to feature the most when customers ask, "What should I try?" Stars include our boneless wings, fountain soda, and fry-away menu items. Plow horses. Low profitability, high popularity. Menu items in this category are not your best friend. However, they are an essential part of our business. They may not generate high profitability per item, but they are some of your most popular items, so they will fatten your bottom line simply based on the volume of revenue they bring in. Our classic wings and bottled beverages are examples of plow horses. Bone-in wings prices are prone to large market swings, so at times throughout the year they can shift to star status as prices come down. Puzzles. High profitability, low popularity. These items can become your new best friends and turn into stars, but the puzzle is how to get customers to order them more often. These are the menu items you will want to focus most of your marketing on. An example of a puzzle turned into a star is our boneless wings. Hugely profitable, but when Wing It On first opened, 80% of customers chose traditional bone-in over boneless. We knew that we had some pretty amazing, made fresh-to-order boneless wings that kicked the competition's butt. Through social media marketing and initiatives like our Buck a Boneless Tuesdays, many Wing It On stores now see up to 40% of all wing orders being ordered as boneless. Boneless wings are now our primary star menu category. Dogs. Low profitability, low popularity. Dogs do not make you money, and customers do not order them frequently. These are menu items you will hopefully not see on our menu if we do our jobs right. Wing It On Corporate is constantly reviewing sales data and menu mix reporting to track and eliminate dogs from our menu. The rare occasion that you will have a dog on your menu is likely due to regional tastes and preferences. An item may be a high-volume plow horse in other regions, but a dog with your local market. Method number 2. Food costing and financial analysis spreadsheet. Available as an Excel spreadsheet on the franchisee drive. More manual inputs. Benefit is that this spreadsheet flows into a complete 360-degree financial analysis of your business. Individual recipe-based food costs, overall theoretical food cost, pro forma profit, and loss worksheet. Calculating actual food cost. Inventory-based. Should be performed weekly. The formula for uncovering your actual food cost is opening inventory value plus purchases minus ending inventory value divided by total food sales. Step 1. Inventory valuation. Before you can calculate your actual food cost, a complete inventory must be taken in order to arrive at a total inventory valuation figure. This first week this is taken will be your beginning inventory in the formula. The following week's inventory will be your ending inventory. Step 2. Tallying purchases. Add up the total of your food invoices from the distributor for the time frame being analyzed. Important. Make sure that the consumables are not included in your total. Easiest way to accomplish this is by making 2 separate orders each time you place a distributor order. Submit one order for food items and a second order for paper goods and consumables. This makes separating the two and calculating your purchases for food costing significantly easier. Step 3. Obtain food sales data. Make sure to subtract any sales for non-food items such as apparel sold. Some operators prefer to keep beverage sales out of their weekly food cost analysis and calculate it separately. If this is your preference, make sure to deduct beverage sales as well. Step 4. Plug your numbers in and calculate food cost. As an example, we will figure that we had a starting inventory value of $3,400, an ending inventory value of $2,800, food purchases of $4,500, and food sales of $15,000. We would first calculate beginning inventory of $3,400 plus purchases of $4,500 equals $7,900. Next, we take $7,900 and subtract our ending inventory of $2,800 equals $5,100. Lastly, we will divide our balanced inventory value of $5,100 by our revenue of $15,000 equals 0.34 or 34% food cost. Labor cost and management. So what exactly is labor cost? Labor cost in the restaurant industry is the cost of all labor-related expenses incurred, including employee hourly wages and salaries, overtime pay and bonuses, payroll taxes, health care contributions, vacation, and sick day pay. With increasing minimum wages, labor costs are on the rise across the food service industry. It is important to not be reactive to this, but rather to utilize a labor strategy that maximizes sales. A restaurant that cuts back on employees and is staffed to be slow can only ever be slow. It is critically important, especially in the first 2 to 3 months after opening, to staff your restaurant for success and growth, not to staff for reduced labor costs. Only after you've built a winning team and provided a great first impression to customers in your market should you then start looking at ways to reduce labor cost. Remember that the easiest way to reduce labor costs is to increase sales. Revenue and labor have a symbiotic relationship. As revenue goes up, labor cost naturally falls. Staff your store to provide a great customer experience above all else, and sales will increase. In the end, you will have very little worry about your labor costs. Other ways to control labor costs. Attrition rates. The second best way to control your labor cost for the long term is to keep your best people from leaving. We discussed this in detail in session 3. Remember, it is better to pay one excellent cook $15 an hour than 2 bad cooks $10 an hour. The excellent cook will output more labor value than both bad cooks combined and ultimately save you money. Create schedules effectively. Utilize the Wing It On scheduling template available on the Franchisee Drive. Our weekly schedule spreadsheet has 3 tabs. Schedule print sheet. On this sheet, you will create the weekly schedule and print for posting. Schedule history. On this sheet, you will copy and paste your schedule for the past 4 weeks to keep a record of reference. Employee info. The final sheet, Employee Info, is where you'll input all of the important information about each employee as a quick reference guide when creating your weekly schedule. This is a good place to keep track of which shifts each employee can work, days, nights, or specific hour windows, and any other unique scheduling info. For example, needs Tuesday, Thursday day shift off for school, can only work first, last Sunday each month, etc. Tip: do not wait until the last minute to post your schedule. Put yourself in your employee's shoes. No one wants to find out at midnight the night before a new week what days they are working. If your work begins on Monday, we recommend that you have the schedule finished and posted by Friday evening of the week prior so that your employees have time to coordinate their lives. Review, update hours of operation. After several months of experience, you may find that your original hours of operation are not optimized. Reducing or expanding hours of operation could significantly lower your labor costs. Reducing example. If you are open until 11 p.m. but find that you are not having many customers in the final hour between 10 to 11, it may be wise to change to a 10 p.m. close. Expanding example. If after opening you find that students from a local college frequent bars in the area on Thursday to Saturday, you may want to consider expanding to late night hours. If you are located within 1 mile of a major university, 15,000 plus students, and majority live on campus, then adopting late night hours from the beginning will be imperative to your success. Stores near a college campus can do the bulk of their business between the hours of 12 p.m. and 3 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. Properly trained staff. Train your staff well so they feel empowered to do their job correctly and become more efficient. Be compassionate and let them know you are excited to have them on the team, and don't just view them as a required cog in your machine. Greater efficiency ensures you can schedule a leaner workforce without jeopardizing service. Training should include educating all employees on how to use your POS properly. Not only cashiers, but cooks as well should know how to use the POS so that in a pinch, they can help on the front end. You may be able to reduce the number of employees on some slower shifts by 25% if every employee knows how to and is authorized to use the POS. Letting new hires shadow top-performing staff so they can learn from the best. Good or bad habits are passed on from the source of training. Make sure only your best workers are allowed to train new hires. Conduct refresher training. Bad habits can and do creep in. Identify employees who need a refresher on an ongoing basis. Plan regular staff meetings to address staff-wide areas for improvement. A properly designed and maintained kitchen will run more smoothly and need less employees on shift than a poorly designed and disorganized kitchen. Efficiency begins with your floor plan. A kitchen that is well designed to eliminate bottlenecks will make each employee more productive and ultimately need less personnel on each shift than a poorly designed kitchen. Utilize the expertise of our restaurant designer and Wing It On corporate staff. We have improved the efficiency of our design with each new Wing It On store. Stay organized. A well-laid floor plan is a great start, but if over time your store becomes disorganized and cluttered, it will lead to a rapid decline in efficiency and limit the productivity of each employee, resulting in increased labor costs. Tip: label everything. A label maker printer will be your best friend in organizing your store. All shelves and storage areas should be extensively labeled with large, easy-to-read labels.